Say that again for the tape. I'll call the meeting to order. And it being 7:04, quorum is present. The meeting is duly constituted. And the first item on the agenda is adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion? Thanks. And a second. Ads?
Yes, we do. We have two ads. We could add item 14 and 15. 14 is closed council meeting, and item 15 is reporting out. And that we renumber adjournment would be then renumbered to 16.
Okay, reporting out. What are the grounds for closing?
And the grounds are 91C, labor relations, and 91E, disposition of land or improvements.
1E. Okay, land.
91E?
Yeah, C and E.
Okay, you got that, Shona?
Yep.
Anything else? I had some wording changes to the resolutions under 9, but I think we'll just do them when we get there.
Okay.
Rather than try and change them now, even though they are part of the agenda. Okay. So, all in favor of the agenda as amended, thanks, and opposed? That carries.
And then the only other part about the closed is we would close at 8:30.
Okay, so we will, if we are not at the right section at the right time, we will have to do a resolution to amend the agenda again so that we can go into the closed session at 8:30, because that's when the CAO can join us by phone. Okay, just a heads up, but nothing will change. Okay, public participation, 2 minutes on items on the agenda.
Hey Carl, how are you?
Fine, morning, afternoon. Okay, so 2 minutes on the agenda, is that correct?
Yeah, maybe take 2 minutes and 10 seconds, by the way.
The item is on the agenda?
No.
Can I start?
Well, the rules are very clear. If you want to say...
Yet.
Okay, is it on the agenda?
First of all, I'm very happy to see you again, all of you. And you did a great job as a council and mayor last year. One thing that I want to mention to you is, first of all, you know that in the cul-de-sac there is a construction. And this gentleman, he knew very well that the truck just passing by and there is dirt on the street. And they didn't clean it up. But it's not my fault, it's not your fault, but you have the power to tell him to do so, to clean it up. And he was aware that 2 kids can come over there and did it with sweeping, but doesn't work. The second thing is, we have a very bad cracking in the crack on the asphalt, on the street in Lower Kelvin Road. And when we have a heavy rain, it's going to be like as a pond. There's so much water in the stadium. And gradually we are going to lose all the asphalt. I would like to ask you that if you please do something that it's not that much, but they try to fill up the crack.
Okay, thanks. Okay, you said 2 things. That was 2. You have a third thing?
No, this is the package as a one. The second package is that, as you know, the spring break is very close by, and we are going to be having many guests as a kids that they don't obey that what they have to do, and I would like to ask you that if it's possible for the timing of the spring break, if we have a bylaw officer, and after that, whatever that you have done last year.
Okay, thanks. So we'll cut it off there. Just so that you know, for future, the public participation is stated in the bylaw is for items on the agenda. If you have other items, you either have to ask for a delegation, which means you have to file a form, or you have to send a letter to council.
But the 2 minutes doesn't, I believe that as far as I know, that the 2 minutes anybody can come over here and ask you
No,
something.
address council on some item on the agenda, otherwise it's a delegation. Now, because there's such a small gallery, I'm happy to let it go. But you can imagine if everybody was here, 30 or 40 people, and everybody wanted to have their 2 minutes on anything.
But what we have to do with the problems, we have to fill up the application.
You have to make a
for
delegation.
2 minutes even though, but that one is 10 minutes.
Yes, if you don't need the 10 minutes, that's fine. Or just send us a letter. So we're happy to take it, and thanks for that. We've noted your comments. Thank you.
Definitely, especially about the bylaw office.
Okay, thanks, Cambies.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay,
Thank you,
so
everybody.
there being no delegations, we'll move on to approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Starting on page 5. You've got those notes from Kemby's?
Yes.
You've got them, right, Shauna? Okay, thanks. Thanks, Kemby's.
Thank you.
Okay, so any changes?
I didn't have any.
They're great. And long.
And opened and closed and reopened.
Yeah. Okay, so can I have a motion to approve and a second? Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That carries. So the minutes are approved, and then the minutes of the special council meeting starting on page 13. This was the quickie to handle the endorsement of the CAO to go to a recently opened spot at the Padme course, and also to do first, second, and third reading on garbage bylaw. So can I have a motion to approve these minutes? Thanks, and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That carries. So those minutes are good. And business arising. Again, I don't know how to do this, and we're not going to troll through the minutes, but I will be discussing with the CAO how to come up with this. What does he call it? Something action list or something.
Follow-up action.
Yeah, FUA.
Fuel,
Fuel.
yeah.
Yeah.
Follow-up action items.
I don't see them. So we may need to go back to some of these minutes to check. I don't want to be relying on memory to do this. So we'll pass on unless somebody has anything they particularly want to raise. Fred?
Well, just one, I was just wondering, it doesn't have to be an official thing, but correspondence, R3, was there any progress on the, what do you call it, Friends of Beach drainage issue?
We handed that off to the staff.
Yeah, that went to staff, and is there anything you can tell us? Any updates?
No, Maurice the owner was out of town. He's back on the 22nd, tomorrow. And basically, we will be discussing with him what he needs to do to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, this is now a larger project, obviously, because there'll need to be a public information piece around all the other, maybe even a consultation, but I know it's in capable hands, so we'll leave it with you until you tell us what we need to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Just caught my eye here. When do we expect to get the Geo Advice water model results?
We have met with him and had our initial meeting. Right now, we're reviewing all of the information that he has in the model. So we're reviewing the PRV set points, tank elevations, pipe sizes, pipe diameters. We're eliminating some of the errors within the system.
Mm-hmm.
Once the information is inputted into the model, we're hoping before the end of March for the results.
Okay, so weeks, not months.
No, some of the modeling will take, days. Like they run the model for, 5 days
Yeah,
straight,
yeah.
continuously.
Yeah, on a cray.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Okay, good. Excuse me one second. Sorry. I caught the plague from our last week's visitors. Unfinished business. IRRs. I'm also going to change the format, thanks very much, Pam, of the agenda to get rid of this sort of somewhat backwards layout that, where we say the IRRs will be updated in accordance with the following. That needs to go in the minutes. And so right now, the agenda item is that we're going to be discussing IRRs starting on page 15. And those are the new ones. I don't think we're going to have any action on those, but let's just quickly whip through them.
Sure.
The drones, Nai, anything to tell us?
we are promised, or we have been promised by the end of this week, an estimate for the drone pulley camera system. So we're waiting for that to come in.
Now, how does that jive with the $4,000 fixed cams at the intakes?
I'm not sure. The $4,000 fixed cam at the intake would require a monthly fees, would require cellular modems to transmit the data. And when you're transmitting photos or real-time images, you're talking about a significant cost. and there is no cell signal up there.
Today,
That's our
yeah.
biggest problem.
Yeah.
So this would be a pulley camera, basically a clothesline. The camera would be run along the clothesline to the intake. Camera would drop down and be able to pan around and look at the intake.
Yeah, unbudgeted as yet, but do you have a wild ass guess?
No. I wouldn't want to be put to a number.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that'd be pretty hard to tell without a lot of research.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
he's been up there. He's mapped it out. He's measured it out, and he's providing that cost. The only concern I have is that you put the camera on this clothesline. Basically, it's a glorified clothesline, and you set the camera to record, and you pull the pulley, and the camera records as it goes out, and it drops down on a preset sequence and does a loop. But you can't control it and see what's
You can't see what
happening
you're seeing. Yeah.
until the camera comes back to you. So you may have 2 or 3 different times where you have to, and if you don't get the right exact shot that you're looking for.
I think if you can get some sort of ballpark numbers from this guy, you know, if it's anything much more than $1,000, I think we'd rather wait until we get the cellular modem sorted out. You know, I mean, you know, at N speeds or 54 megabits, you can stream video just fine on cellular. And then we've got live cams on hardened poles with their own solar power, you know, so we don't have to run power up there. We've got panable, controllable cameras that we can peer into buildings.
Yeah.
So if it's $1,000, $2,000 as a stopgap, sure, but anything more than that, I think it's just it's going to be a waste of everybody's resources. So just keep an eye on that one so that we don't spin his wheels. Maybe we need him for something else, you know, these aerial photographs until Google Earth comes up. Okay, so playgroup request for guarder railing along the highway from Kelvin Grove to Central Lions Bay.
So the route on the north side of the highway between Kelvin Grove and Lions Bay is not amenable to. I mean, it could be a goat path, difficult.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for the name of the trail, but from the works yard to the Lions Bay Avenue exit, that trail could be modified and could be made stroller safe or stroller accessible. There might be a couple of steep portions on it, but it is doable. I don't know the need. I honestly just don't know.
Well, yeah, we don't know the need either, although there is a requirement in the OCP to add walkability to the village, but I'd suggest that would be part of any works yard redevelopment project. All part of the same excavation, shoring.
Absolutely, it could be built into that as an amenity contribution.
Yeah, yeah. So, how did this request come?
Eileen was talking to somebody with a buggy, and they couldn't make it to
That's
their
right.
mail thing.
So we don't actually have a formal request, so there's nobody we can respond to.
My thinking is that we, well, firstly, if you're going to do it, it'd need a budget number. There is no budget number, and I'm not sure there's a need for this.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this trail, that trail was put in along with the highway alignment.
Yeah,
Okay?
it was.
And the village has the responsibility to maintain it in the condition that it was put in. Now, I don't know, I haven't been over it myself lately, although last time I walked it, it was getting, it was walkable, but it was getting pretty bony in some areas, and that may be what the issue is. So I'm just wondering if it's not just lack of maintenance that's causing that.
Are we obliged to
problem.
do that?
Well, it's part of our infrastructure. It's the trail that was put in along with the highway. We negotiated hard to get that, and I think we should be looking after it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that my dogs walk along there almost, every second day, but they're not strollers, and maybe it's a valid concern.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't remember it being that bad before that you'd have to worry about that. But maybe it's gotten worse. That'd be the first thing I want to look at. And see
Yeah,
if
I'll check it.
it might just be a quick maintenance issue that
Yeah.
takes it away.
Well, it's under wood chips right now. I'd suggest that if you're going to strollerize it, it's going to have to be ash.
Well, that might be part of the problem.
Mhm.
Yeah, that might be.
And there's a gradient issue as well. You can only get so steep. Yeah. Okay, but there's nobody to physically respond to, so I would suggest that the action items be mentioned, So you're going to
It's
get a
on
sort
my
of
radar.
go no go thing on the drone clothesline ski lift model, and no further action on 126.
So I think that should be on the strike then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, so we're just removing 126?
Yeah.
126.
No further action, NFA on 126, and Public Works Manager to follow up on 114 and report back, with a view to either furthering the project or killing it, depending on some sort of nominal budget number. And the rest are all in play. So I believe that I would be happy to take a motion to action the actions as actioned. And a second. Any further discussion? All in favour? Opposed? That carries. So that's it for IRRs. And the draft policy number 1701, election advertising campaign as amended. This is an approval. Page 21.
So that's the one that Peter modified.
Yep. So there's the policy. If I'm to be perfectly honest, I haven't given this enough time. What is the? Is there a hurry?
Yeah, with the election coming. I think all the changes he's got highlighted on the back page.
Page 24.
Yeah, I think it was really just point 4 where we wanted some
I think
clarification.
it's just point four.
Yeah, and the previous everything else we had read.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
recommendation was to go back and reword section 4.
Is that what we discussed last
Yes.
time? Okay,
Yeah.
thanks for the,
Yeah.
that's it's all coming back to me now. Okay, so are we happy to adopt this policy as amended? Because we were pretty happy with it before. We just needed some tightening up on section 4.
Yeah, just a bit of clarity.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll take a motion to adopt in a second. Any further discussion? All in favour? Opposed? That carries. And we'll go to reports. Pam.
Yes, the accounts payable checklisting.
No, first the municipal grant report on table.
Oh,
This
go
is
by the
now.
agenda and not my book. Yes.
Yeah, this
so
is coming
I
from
apologize.
the Council Strategy Committee meeting of this
Yes,
afternoon.
exactly. So this is
Thank
the
you.
report. So we reviewed the municipal grants at the CSC, and council determined that I think we're happy with the grants as presented. So they recommended, the CSC recommended to council to approve the 2017 municipal grants as per the attached list.
Okay, thank you. That is my recall of events as well. So anybody care to make a motion? Thanks, Fred. And a second? Any discussion? I think we discussed this adequately a few hours ago as a committee. Now we'll make the binding decision. All in favour? Opposed? That carries. Okay, and now, Pam,
Yes,
the checklisting.
the checklist.
Lay it on us.
So this is basically the last 6 months of checks and electronic payments that have been made by the village. We like to do this quarterly, and unfortunately I missed the third quarter of last year. We had a few things going on, like by-elections and loan authorization bylaws. So this is 6 months worth of checks that were written the last 6 months of 2016. It's really just presented, it's something we've done for a few years, just to sort of show what we're spending our money on.
Yeah, well, this is mostly as a result of the mayor no longer signing checks because the mayor has no knowledge of whether they're right or wrong.
Right.
So this gives council some oversight of disbursements. And it gives you a pretty good picture if you go through them one by one.
And I have a question.
Sure.
Dead center of page 26 of 102.
Second.
Dear to your own heart, GEP Magicians.
Okay,
A damage deposit return for filming. I wasn't aware that there'd been any filming done in the village in years.
yes, we have
Oh, I think it
filming,
goes on
yeah,
more than you know.
quite a bit.
It goes on
There's
quite a
filming
bit,
a lot
actually.
in the
There's been
pit.
some recent
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
There's a lot that goes on in the pit, and so that's just the damage deposit we require, and then we
I
just
took no
refund it.
complaints is
Yeah.
a good thing. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the filming policy, as you know, is still sort of in abeyance. We're under the old filming permit, which is to do with filming on private property and the associated parking stuff around it. But at some point, I just was actually thinking about this the other day, that we need to tighten up on the filming policy, or not, if we're happy with the status quo. There's two kinds of communities, those that have film trucks everywhere and those that don't. So we have to decide. But not today. Why was my expenses check voided? 101962.
What page?
I'm sort of half joking, 27, about 10 down. Doesn't matter. I'm sure that was a mistake.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't seem to remember having that much expenses. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea, is the point.
Oh, is that what the yes means in the comment?
Yeah, I assume so. Void, yes.
Wasn't that the meeting that you missed, we made that decision?
Void your check, yeah.
Yeah. On the other hand, I want to be sure.
And we did it with laughter because we gave you the check first.
Was
Yeah,
that the,
yeah.
was that the map, Pam?
No, I wasn't going to get reimbursed anything.
Yeah, I'm just not
We got
sure.
reimbursed for the
I'm
map.
actually just not sure what the yes means. I'll find out.
Okay, well, it's not the end of
Why
that.
don't you take that offline?
What are tactical shorts?
Technical what?
Shorts. Check number 24148 on page 37.
It's DS Tactical.
Yeah.
It's for the, it's for the, they just call them tactical shorts, but it's for the fire department. It's just the term they use, tactical shorts.
Are you familiar with this term, Chief? Former Chief?
Probably a little more formal in my day.
Well, I mean, it's $3,600, but you will notice if you go through this, you'll see a lot of checks going out for fire. Small, individually, but lots of them.
Meals.
Stuff, valves and escape packs, and
It is 6 months worth of checks.
it's a lot of checks and very hard to absorb. So I have to
Think of
admit
how
that
many hours you saved out of this.
I sort of glazed over towards the end, but
One thing here caught my eye on page 39. Rental environmental products, UV reactor parts. Is there an issue with our UV reactors?
There are a couple of bolts, specialty bolts. They're specialty parts that we ordered. The bulbs are ordered. Just routine maintenance costs, cleaning solution, that sort of stuff.
Oh, 11 grand worth of stuff there.
Yeah, this one might have been
No.
UV reactor parts. Would it have been a part of the
Well,
Build Canada project?
Would that not be bulbs?
No, no, I need to check on that.
yeah, I mean, at council's behest, I'm quite prepared to go back to signing checks because I would be able to tell you that because attached to it would have been the invoice, and I could very quickly remember. I think we do need to see this quarterly and not 6 monthly, obviously.
Yeah, no, and I apologize.
Because then some of this stuff will be at the top of your your mind.
I mean,
Anyway.
it says right there, Ramtech Environmental.
I don't think it's good use of your time to check checks.
Probably not.
Yeah.
$4,400 to remove a dangerous tree. That same page, check number 24199.
Yes. Tree removal is expensive.
That must have been a heck of a tree.
It may not have been just one tree.
Yeah.
There
Oh,
are
I see.
several-
Okay.
There are
yeah.
several trees.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Brunswick.
Yeah.
It could be Brunswick. I believe those were the only trees, other than a couple up here for the fire. The fire hall.
And so when we see something like that, that is within some budget line item, the operating budget line
Yes.
item. And
Correct. Yeah, there was a budget line item for those trees. They were budgeted. They were highlighted in the 2015 budget process.
I do remember.
Yes.
It's all come to
So-
fruition.
Yeah, and my apologies. I didn't think to look at some of the larger ticket items.
No,
and
no
get
apologies
with
necessary. Yeah, no.
Yeah, we have a set budget for tree removal, and then we'd had this additional amount because these had been identified as being risky. And then even the description, we do our best with the description, but we have a very limited amount. We probably should have said dangerous removal of trees, plural, because I do remember that one. I think it was
Yeah,
more
those
than
are.
one.
It's right
Yeah.
there. They are the Brunswick beech
Mhm.
trees. There were 3 trees removed.
Fine. Okay, so I'll take a motion to receive the report. Thanks. And any further? All in favour of receipt and opposed? That carries. I've written down here verbal on the mayor's report. Just to remind you that we are slated for a dog and pony show Saturday at 1:30 at the Brunswick Pit with Modi. The guest list is about 40 long. The press will be there. This Saturday. It would be great if council could attend. You can make it. Okay, good. What about the rest of you? It should be about an hour.
Yeah, I guess we could.
What was the time?
1:30.
I'm not sure that I'll be here.
I sent a calendar just
Yeah, no, I saw
earlier
it
this
come out,
morning
yeah.
or yesterday afternoon. So you've got it in your calendar. But just
Yeah.
so this is now the culmination of the discussions that we've been having with Moti. It's not yet been released from close, so I'm not quite at liberty to say what it is. But the press release will be made either on Friday afternoon or at the time of this meeting. After which we will be free under our agreement with memorandum of understanding with Modi to release it to the public, which I'm looking forward to doing.
Is this in the fireman's compound or one of the levels?
Good question. They previously wanted to do it just on the pullout from the highway, and I said, "Are you aware the traffic goes by there at 90?" And they see the minister and a whole bunch of flunkies standing around. So we pulled the plug on that one. So
For the folks that haven't actually tootled up there, it's a little daunting.
exactly. So the instructions as they came said turn left on Crystal Falls Road. I said no, that's not right.
Yeah,
So that's going to have to be revised. So anyway, that's that. Just be aware of that one. And
What was it called?
Are we having one of our people pointing, directing?
no, this is a Modi deal. They're going to have
Okay,
to
they know
supply
what
all
they're
those
doing.
people.
Okay, so, fine.
The Moti
Oh.
press junket.
What about the camera types? Do they know where they're going? If you didn't live in Lions Bay, you wouldn't know where the hell it was.
Yeah.
Brunswick Pit is nowhere.
It's not on a map. Yeah. No, we told them.
Okay.
We said
Okay.
I told them what to say. 1.3 kilometers past the Lions Bay Avenue exit.
Okay.
The big
I'll
gravel
put
pit
a little
sign.
balloon with a heart on it.
Yeah. Okay, that's all. I want to ask for a second and motion to receive my report. Any council reports?
Just quick on the Dear Tyrone part, Mayor Burr, the pulling together canoe journey of Approach Safeway. They're going to do some stuff for the feeding of the throne. I've talked to Kate Pratt of the Events Committee. We will have a manpower problem, as she is going to have a manpower problem for Canada Day. So I'm thinking about that, but we may be putting a call out to the volunteers of the variety of groups that we just funded, which would be my suggestion, that we need this many people, but you will be the bearer of that bad news in one of your articles I ask you to write.
Oh, I doubt that people would mind at all. In fact,
Well, I think so too, because I mean, it'll be a pretty clean job. Somebody be handing out water, other person plates, somebody cutting sandwiches and
hot dogs or whatever it is we decide to do.
Yep.
I mean, I know they said pizza would go down very well, but
The logistics would be staggeringly hard.
How does a pizza company put out 100 pizzas
well, I don't
for
know.
lunch?
I don't know. No,
Well,
and that's not exactly the most healthy of things. But on the other hand, you've been paddling a canoe for 16 kilometers. I think pizza would be the most welcome thing. Better
It
than
will sit in
carrots
the
and
stomach for
celery
a while,
sticks.
that's for sure.
Well, I'm sure you've had 4 ham sandwiches by the time you got to the beach, so.
Yeah, true. Okay, well, I'll leave that to.
So it's just everybody's FYI. So I think we're there, 20, let's make it 40,000 foot level.
Okay, but that's proceeding. And just on Canada Day, any plans afoot yet?
They're trying to mark it with the 150th and do something gala about that, but their executive team, who takes holidays on Canada Day? Apparently the executive does.
The entire events committee
Yeah,
does, pretty much.
The entire event committee does.
Yeah.
And then they're fortunate enough to stay away during the pulling together canoe thing. So that is, fact is, there's something that we should put as a to-do from the minutes, is
Yeah.
Canada Day.
Yeah, because part and parcel of that is Citizen of the Year, Citizen
Yeah.
of Distinction, and all the other ones. So,
Actually, Sean, could you please, pardon me, Carl, if you could make sure that's in the minutes so we look at it. Also, I'm thinking, doggone if I know when volunteer week is, but we wouldn't want that to slip by too, so if you could stick
That's a
both
fuel.
those under my name for next meeting.
make it a follow-up action list item.
Thank you.
Or what, however we end up doing it. But fuel's good.
Don't we mark those on our calendar anyways, the
We've
village
been doing this
calendar?
for 5 years, I think I've missed it every year.
Yeah. We always seem to miss volunteer week, which is one of the last things we should be missing.
Yeah.
Okay. You good there? Fred, did I see your hand up for council? No? Okay, so we'll move on to committees. The council strategy committee, is this a recommendation for a resolution, Pam?
I think what happened was it came from the last CSC. The idea was to bring it to the committee. I mean, technically, we don't need it because we've
in the budget.
approved the supplemental. It's in the budget, but we could just, I think because we wanted to draw specific attention to this, but
Well, there is a
We've
resolution
already-
coming.
there is.
And so I suggest,
And we've actually now recommended this be deferred to 2018.
this is, sorry, this is not the stairs, this is the bus shelter. What was the driver for this? What's the action on this? So,
I think the action was just that it be added to the supplemental budget request. For some reason, we pulled this out for a special resolution.
yeah, I'd say we table this one. I don't want to vote it down. I don't want to vote in the unaffirmative. So let's, can I have a motion to table this one? Thanks, and a second. Any discussion? All in favour? Opposed? That carries. So we'll leave D1 as tabled. Got it? And we'll move to D2, Trees, Views and Landscapes, application number 77 for Periwinkle Place. Ron?
Thank you. I was not at number 2, which photographically is on page 50. And there's a soon to be departed tree, dead center. The neighbors are all fine with it, and so is Public Works. And that's all there is there. I'll take any questions on that one.
There's not a prize fir tree or anything? It's hard to tell from the picture where it is, but fine.
Fine, so.
And the tree committee was good with it?
Unanimous.
Okay, fine. So, council resolution required. So, can I have a motion on the tree committee recommendation? Thanks, and a second. And any further discussion? All in favour? Opposed? That carries.
Thank you.
So, how does that work now? Staff tell the
Staff writes them a letter.
applicant. Okay.
And on 3, I was at this one. The variety of pictures, which if you go to pages 55, 56, 57, bypassing the snow, the objective here is to wipe out the trees with a view to building a retaining wall which is falling down behind the trees. Public Works has blessed this, the right thing to do, and my ask is that on page 67 at the bottom, Will has given some suggestions to Nye that if this could also be translated and sent to the homeowner as well too, if it hasn't.
It has already been, and it's already been taken care of. The homeowner will be watching, their water line has already been replaced.
Okay.
So they'll be watching where that goes in relation to the wall.
So long story short, citing those pictures on those pages I just gave you, this is a complete cut and clean so that they can do the retaining wall because his bank and his driveway is falling over.
And you're satisfied that the retaining wall will not encroach?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
We've reviewed it prior to its going to the board for a variance on the height of the wall. Yeah.
And
What's the height variance? Because there's a BC building code restriction of 4 feet.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a significant retaining wall, rock stack,
But engineered.
yes.
So the building inspector will have oversight on it.
Yeah, drawings and plans were submitted to the board.
But the board doesn't adjudicate on building bylaw issues.
No, it was a variance, so the.
Yes, the height is the variance,
The engineered drawings were provided.
and that's
at
the building
board.
inspector takes care of that he
Correct.
likes the design.
Yes,
And the board of variance takes care of the height
again, yeah,
exceedance. Okay, fine.
absolutely right.
Okay.
And before we go to motion, and this is for Shauna for the recording, if I could refer council to page 70 of 102, which is the minutes for the tree committee meeting. And I would ask that embedded in the minutes, please, Shauna, is item number 7, old business, that there's an outstanding application that requires the CAO to respond. This has been done electronically, but it's a little on the stale side, and I worry that we may have a delegation coming forward.
I can
if we-
input on that. I spoke to the CAO this afternoon,
Okay.
and he said he is in discussion
Good.
with the applicant,
Good,
and everything's
fine.
will be copacetic.
Okay, then we're done, so that piece.
So no action item there. We're fine.
No action item there, Shauna, thank you. So going to this, Mayor Burr, item 3 stands as it is, that the subject trees and associated debris cut and clean removed.
Thank you. We'll take that as a motion. Can I have a second? Thanks. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That carries. So those 2 tree applications have been approved, and we tabled D1, so we're there. Emergency services, there being no reports in that regard. Correct? No, not. So now we need a resolution under 9, and there's only one. I meant to actually bring my suggested changes, but so maybe I can just ask.
Do you want to take a minute?
No, because I just wrote them on here. The park and ride belongs to TransLink?
Correct. The park and ride,
Yeah.
the parking lot?
No, the park and ride. The on the west side of the highway, on the way to Isleview,
On top of Albion.
Yes, I believe so,
they administer it
yeah.
and signage it and everything. Okay, fine. So that's fine. The wording was a little cumbersome there, but I suppose I can live with it. I just wanted to say that we should add a sentence on the now therefore. So from Central Lions Bay Underpass, put a comma, and thank TransLink for TransLink's consideration. So I would move an amendment to the motion. So if I can have a second on that, thanks. So now we're going to vote on the amended motion and not the motion. So just to remind, just to reiterate, it's to add a little clause at the end there, saying that at the Southbound bus stop at the Central Lions Bay Underpass, comma, and thank TransLink for TransLink's consideration. Okay, so that's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favour? Opposed? That carries. So that will now go to TransLink, I'm assuming.
Did you get that? Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
quite get it.
Translink for.
TransLink's consideration. I don't want to say their consideration. Okay. Moving on to bylaws. We are now at adoption
Yes, we are.
of the
Water.
water, sewer and garbage bylaws for this year. So I see the resolution's been worded in such a way to do them all together, which is
Yes.
fine. So I will read it out for the record, and then I'll ask for a second. So I move that the utility user rate amendment bylaws number 514, 515 and 516 adoption be adopted as follows. Water rates and regulations bylaw number 2, 1971, amendment bylaw number 514 of 2017. Number 2, sewer user rates bylaw number 122 of 1984, amendment bylaw number 515 of 2017. And third, garbage and recycling collection bylaw number 455 of 2013, amendment bylaw number 516 of 2017. May I have a second? Thanks. Any discussion? The motion and second is for adoption of the bylaws as moved. All in favour? Opposed? That carries. And correspondence. Ron, do you want to do the honours, starting on page
Thank you.
83?
We will reverse our customary and do the general first. G1 Canadian Fallen Heroes Program. In my view, this is a fine and worthwhile cause, but there's no bang for the buck here. If you refer to page 86 is the pricing formula, which is basically you're advertising your municipality across Canada, and I think for the low number is an honorable mention. I don't think we need to be honorably mentioned, and for $250 for a quarter page, I don't see it relates very well.
Council? Yeah, I agree as well. So would you care to make a motion, Ron, to no action?
No.
Because we
no
have had a
action.
formal request.
Formal action, I recommend no action.
Okay, thanks. Second?
BC government, Frank.
Just hang on. So we need to respond to them because they did ask us for action. So can we do a follow-up action item to respond to Tony Hall and say that we will thank her for the opportunity, but not proceed?
Thank you.
Okay.
G2 BC government Francophone Affairs program. That's when I think I knew everything about every program in the province. Along comes the old Francophone program. I think my assessment on this was, it's not an obvious benefit to the village because the facts are a little not there. So my ask for staff on this one would be to contact the individual who identified themselves and see if there's something there that might in some way fit with the village, but I would limit their time to a minute or two.
What's the ask? They encourage us to.
Basically, they would like to give us stuff, but we don't know what they'd like to give us.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's where the minute conversation
So
is.
what's our action here? I would say no action,
Staff to make the phone call.
and ask them.
What are they giving away?
Okay.
Although, I mean, they might be giving something away, but
Well,
We
it's
can
eligible
conclude now.
programs must support service, planning and delivery, or blah, 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 blah.
it's for
Arts,
French services,
culture,
which do we need in the village?
Arts and culture.
Francophone affairs?
No, this is Francophone, not late French immersion, which my child goes to, courtesy of
Um,
West Van School District.
You know what, I'd be happy if staff's, like I said, 2 minutes for a phone call, nothing there.
See if there's anything we need to know. Yeah, I mean, again, this will likely be 50% funding, and I certainly don't see us dedicating budget to Francophile things. We can play some French music over a loudspeaker at Canada Day.
Well,
I think they
quite
sort of
frankly,
shown
it's-
some examples
it's
of what they've.
singularly lacking in most details.
Yeah.
I think I mean, if you see some of the examples of what they've awarded money for, I can't see us needing any of those. I mean, that sort of describes the type of funding you could get.
Art in public places.
Yeah.
We've got a lot more
No,
German
it's-
speakers in this village than French speakers,
Well, art
according
in
to the
public
census.
places, we just talked about that this morning, this afternoon, so.
It's got to be French art in public places, but I'm happy to
Sure,
do
we
that.
could take that. Yeah, it was right.
The
Okay.
voyageur in
Yes.
a beaver
good.
cap.
All right, the recommendation.
2-minute phone call.
Staff at their leisure, make the phone call.
Got it?
No response necessary.
Yes,
Back to
and I
council.
should just go back to G1 and ask who was to respond to Tony Hall?
To respond to the writer,
Staff.
which
Staff.
is Tony Hall, Canadian Foundation, the substance being thank you, but no thank you.
Okay, moving on to the postmasters.
G3, dear to my own heart about forming your own bank. The concept of a postal bank interested me, but I think this is for rural communities that are even more rural than we are,
Yeah.
where they have access to no banking other than trading goods and services.
Beaver pelts.
There you go. No response on that one. G4, dare to share. This is the conference, which I suggest we pass on. We don't have to respond.
Is there no response?
They're asking.
Yeah, no, it's register if you're interested. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
R1, the kayaking down Alberta Creek, dear to everybody's heart. Carl, in my view, you have already responded to the homeowner.
And we did pull some correspondence because this has come up before, and we have been directed by Modi, who owns the land, that we instruct the homeowners to just contact the RCMP.
Yeah, that's
Because
not
it's-
quite good enough, but this is between staff, CAO and Modi. They need to repair their fence, they need to put liability signage, nothing to do with us. And if they access higher level of government infrastructure through our lands, from what I understand, that's their risk.
But when they have been contacted, before, the instructions have come from Modi that they want, I mean, aside from the holes in the fence, but if you witness someone coming down, then you're to contact the RCMP. And that's what
Yes.
Modi has requested we
Yeah,
do.
because in the past, what's happened, because I wish, like, for a while, a couple of years, it was going on right across the street from my place. And people are gathering and they're watching and they're getting in Wade Park there and they're trying to access down inside there and all this kind of stuff. And it looks like a Lions Bay activity, but it's not. And it's not sanctioned by the village, I don't think. And it
By no
should,
means.
or should it be? So we need to, that's why we need to be proactive
Yes.
and make sure it's reported when it does happen.
Yes.
Because someone gets hurt.
Yes,
We're gonna-
and the request was that the residents themselves call the RCMP. and
So
just
are we?
report it.
So I mean, my response to this particular resident is yes. We're talking to Modi about it. But should I put a message out on the Friday piece, just saying, please call the RCMP?
I think you need to do that. Also, since we're meeting Modi and you want to campaign with Modi, this might be something sturdy to or something like that.
I have. They know.
I mean, what's the worst? What's the downside here? One of these young people does a horrible event, and suddenly there's a quadriplegic in the Dry Creek, and it's airlifted out, and there's cameras, and Lions Bay is receiving infamy yet again.
Yeah. Once again, looks not so good.
So
Yeah. So from that standpoint, I don't like it. But what do we do about it? As soon as we start putting up signage, we're participating in the risk.
this is a mono thing with you and the provincial things. I mean, clearly Modi's,
Dropping the ball.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but do we have the jurisdiction or the ability to put signs up?
On
ourselves?
our lands, sure, but not on Modi fences. That's Modi's job. And they should fix the fences. And we have asked them, I know what you're going to say next, Fred. So we've asked them to fix the deadfall into their channels. Is that what you were going to say?
No, actually,
Oh.
that's a good point. Well, there's two things I would say on the whole thing is, one thing we notice is that goes right past our places. The people are climbing up the channel. They're not getting in it from Lions Bay
They're
anymore.
walking up.
Yeah, hiking
Yeah.
up. The other issue too, the advice to call the RCMP, it sounds great on the surface, but on two separate occasions I've called them. First time, I got an officer who was very sympathetic, wants to come out and have a look and see if, get license plates and all this. And the next one said, well, you can't prevent people from being stupid. And they're not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
So I think if we're gonna direct people to the RCMP, I think we need to contact the RCMP and make sure they have
Yeah.
consistent messaging. Because it's not there right now.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. And they're not coming for something like this. It's 40 minutes anyway, 30 minutes if they drive really fast, and they won't drive fast for this. They've got far bigger fish to fry. So Modi's advice to call the RCMP is silly. So it's we're going to have to do something about this in the future.
What I do know is that when they're dropping their kayaks down, they drop them off of Alberta Creek, off of
bridge.
Isletview, off the bridge, and drop them down in there. That's what they do. I've seen them do that, and I've questioned them before about it, and they just seem to. Yeah.
And drag them up
I mean, they're
Yeah.
not hurting anybody other than themselves, so,
Well, that's it. But
yeah.
yeah.
until they fall off one of our bridges into the channel now, who's,
Carl, I'm not to stick you with this, but I mean, the only thing that's gonna happen is top down. And you're the one with the contacts. And
yeah.
there you go.
And it is only the Alberta flume that, it's only the Alberta flume.
Okay, so I think this is a soft one for you as you continue your
Yeah, Modi discussion, yeah.
trench warfare within 3 feet loose tube.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you, Tanya Cosgrave. Gratitude for the works crew. Again, kudos to Nye. I know I sent you that one as well. I've already spoken to her on that, so if council will accept that as my response. She was tickled with the acknowledgement. Myron, same story essentially. Again, kudos again. Is our practice, I think, is to respond to the residents just doing nothing. So, February the 10th, I'd be happy to respond to him and copy.
Okay.
And Robin Spano. This is the dwindling playgroup at the hall. This is on page 101. The substantial part is their participants have dropped. I get the part where they need to maintain a stakeholding to keep the hall for themselves. So they're asking for a break, which amounts to $90. Because let's say they had 4 or 5 parents from children, now they're down to 2. This is, to me, giving residents their money back. I'm actually fine with this for the 6 months, which is amounts to $90 break going retroactively to January. Council to review, rather than them coming to us again in September, presumably break for the summer, that we actually give them this for the rest of the year.
Do we have a mechanism to do that, Pam? They don't need a community grant, or
It's a tough one. I mean, they've actually already paid it. It's interesting because on Monday they actually had about 8 kids. It is very popular, so I don't know if they've managed to get their numbers up.
What's the holiday though?
No, the Monday before.
Oh,
They
the Monday
actually,
before.
I didn't expect them here on the holiday. I was here on
Yeah.
the holiday, and they actually came and asked for the key because they wanted to use it on the holiday. I'm not sure what the mechanism is actually.
It's almost like you have to cut them a
community
check.
grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess council could pass a resolution to refund them the $90. I don't think they'll need it in September. It's a fine line because, I mean, I think it's a very reasonable request, but I don't know if I'd do it for the whole year. I think I would just do it to the end of June and then see if their numbers are up. Because then we could have requests from everyone to waive
Exactly.
fees, right?
The
It's-
volleyball group, the
I mean, they say
badminton
themselves,
group.
they acknowledge that it is a fair price, which I really appreciate. I mean, I thought it was an excellent letter.
Yeah, I mean, the play group to me is one of the
Yeah.
3 legs of the child-focused elements of Lions Bay. The other being the that's the play group, the preschool and the school. So yeah, I'm fine with it. So maybe we have a resolution. So through June would be January through June, 6 months at $15,
Yeah.
the $90.
That's right.
So just do. So is that a motion?
That's a
Thanks.
motion.
A second to refund the play group $90. Thanks. And
No prejudice?
yeah, good one. So can you amend your motion, friendly amendment to pay them the $90 without prejudice?
Thank you.
Yeah, good suggestion. Okay, so a re-second on that one. Thanks. Any further discussion? All in favour? Opposed? That carries.
Done.
Will you respond to them, Pam, as
Yes.
a result of all
Yeah.
that? Okay, thanks. Okay, so that's it for correspondence. And now we will move to new business. There being none, to my awareness. Public questions and comments. Can I now have a motion to close the meeting to the public under Community Charter 91C, Labour, and 91E, Land considerations? And a second. All in favour? Opposed? That carries. So now, unfortunately, it's early.
Good call. Or is-
Okay, we're returning from closed session. The time is 20:41. Nothing to report out other than matters were discussed pertaining to the reasons for closing the meeting. Further reports will be forthcoming when the time allows. And I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. All in favour? Opposed? And that carries. Meeting adjourned.